Alright, I'm doing a demonstration speech on how to pitch a baseball. A pitcher is one of the most important positions in the game, and you control almost everything there is. You control the tempo, you control your team's emotions, whether you guys are up or down, how things are going, the speed and flow of the game. My personal background is I was a pitcher pretty much the entire time I played baseball, from about 4 or 5 years old till all throughout high school. So I'm going to go through the form of how you would pitch a baseball. So basically, one of the most important things is you have to find wherever the mound is. So we'll say this is the mound. You can stand a lot of different ways, and depending on where your hands are is completely different with multiple different people. So you can have your hands here, you can have your hands here, just wherever you want, as long as you come to a stop before you start. One of the most important things for you to do is to make sure you know where your first step back is. So for me, I always like to go back like this before I start. Some people will go sideways, some people will go all the way down, and some people will even step forward before they start. Another thing to consider is I like to put my hands up by my face so you can look over and look at the batters, but they can't see anything. Another thing about pitching is when you have your glove, you should be able to put the ball by your palm so that you can't give anything away between the webbings of your fingers, or they can't pick up any kind of pitches or anything like that. So I'm going to go through the delivery technique, and one that I used and one that most people use. So basically what you would do is you come set, you take your step back, and then next you turn your foot on the edge of the mound and get set. Pull your knee up, hold here, break apart, and then come through like that. So one of the most important things in that whole thing is following through, because you want to make sure that you're able to feel the ball. And I've had multiple times where the ball's hit right back at your face and you have to be ready to react to it. And if you're not ready, then you're going to get hit by the ball. So another thing about pitching is picking up the signs from your catcher. So whenever you come set, your catcher will relay multiple things. You could have 1, 2, 3, 4, pitch out. Basically 1 is normally fastball, 2 is normally curveball, 3 is normally changeup, and 4 is normally whatever other pitch you have. So there's many different types of pitches. There's, like I said, fastball, curveball, changeup, slider, screwball, two-seam fastball, splitter, cutter. There's a million different pitches. Personally, what I used to throw is I used to throw 2- and 4-seam fastball, changeup, and a curveball. So basically how you would throw them is I can demonstrate. So a 2-seam fastball, you would hold just like this with both your fingers on the seams. 4-seam fastball is across the seams. A changeup is the same, but I always like to add another finger on there. Or you could do a circle change where you're like this and you hold it like this. And then lastly, a curveball, I used to hold mine like this. Well, some people will hold theirs here. Some people will even go all the way over here. But this is the best one in my opinion, because you can get the most spin off of the ball. So like I said, like when you're a pitcher, pitching is one of the you're the most important person out there, and you need to be able to control the game. Basically, the way that you're going is going to determine how your team is going to do. You can't expect to go out there and not perform well at all and expect your team to pick you back up. You have to not show your emotions when you're out there, and if you show your emotions, then everything's going to get to you and you're not going to have a good outing. So basically, to sum it all up, it's one of the hardest things to do in sports. Everybody says that hitting a baseball is the hardest, but I always thought that pitching is the hardest because you have to think the exact opposite of they do and be one step ahead of them and what pitch that they're expecting, you have to be able to counteract that. So one of my favorite sayings in baseball was said by Sandy Koufax, and he's one of the best left-handed pitchers in the, ever. And he said that pitching is an art of instilling fear. So if you go out there and you intimidate the other team and you're able to make it look like you're bigger than you are, I was never a big guy or someone who threw super hard, but if you're able to go out there and make it look like you are by your mannerisms and the way you do things, then you're going to be very successful in pitching. So I know I had a lot of fun doing that. It was always my favorite position to play, and I would encourage anyone who has the chance to do so to go out and do it, or any younger kids who want to play baseball, always try pitching and don't be afraid of being the center stage, because if the spotlight's on you and you perform well, then it's the most rewarding thing there is. That's it.